Hey guys, it's Tears. I just wanted to do another update. So the last time I spoke, I was saying how I had to have that pelvic ultrasound done, and I finally went. I went on October 12th, and I also decided, since I was already at the hospital having the ultrasound, I had that bruise on my arm, and it was still so dark. Over a week at that point, it was 8 days, and I still had like that hard ball under my, under the skin where the bruise was. Hadn't been hit, hadn't been grabbed. There was no reason for that bruise. On top of the fact that I have this weird dry skin on my head that's thick, my hair is falling out, and I think a lot of that is because of how much I am scratching my scalp. And I'm able to just pull out, it looks like papyrus. Honestly, it looks like ancient paper. It's not like dandruff. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was also starting to get flakes. If I would go like this, it would look like it was snowing off my face, here on my nose, and really crusty in my ears. So I've never experienced any of these things before. So in 44 years of my life that I remember, it was odd. So I figured, well, I'm at the hospital, and as long as it's not busy, because I knew I wasn't an emergency as far as a life or death situation, I would just go in there and take advantage of being there at the hospital rather than calling in and getting an appointment in 2 weeks, a month with the doctor's office. So I went in, I told them that. I told them how I had gained 30 pounds in 2 weeks and how I cannot get that weight off. At this point today, I am back fully on plan on what would have caused me to lose weight in the past 1 whole month and 2 whole weeks. Now, mind you, as I get older, it has started to be slower. Not the gaining, of course. The gaining seems to be 1,000 times faster, but the weight loss has been slow, but never non-existent. Especially that first week, you always drop water weight. Nothing. As a matter of fact, today I was up 2 pounds. And yesterday I had less food than I would normally have. I even had 2 fat fasting days and 1 full water fast in this 1 month and 2 weeks, and didn't lose even an ounce. So I really don't know what's going on with that. So I mentioned that. I also mentioned how my legs always feel, in particular, my left leg, always feel like they're swollen and full of fluid. Sometimes my whole left side feels that way, like my face, my arm, my leg. It's very odd. But then when I look down, my legs are big right now. It's really weird. But they're not necessarily, the left is not really necessarily that much bigger looking than the right, even though it feels like it should be, because just the sensation I had. So I explained all that to her. Because the hospital I was in is the same hospital that's affiliated, the gynecologist affiliated with that same hospital, they were able to see my weight and were like, yeah. Even though when I went to the GYN, it was August and it's now October, that's still only 2 months. So to see 30 pounds, even though I really gained that in 2 weeks, which is crazy, was okay, there's something going on here, but this is the emergency room. So there's only so many things we can check you for. The things that we really worry about is heart, with the explanation of the heaviness in the legs, the swelling, the dry skin, and the excessive weight gain in a short period of time. Could be heart failure, kidney failure, or liver failure. She suggested, though, based off of whatever came up in the hospital, that I do follow up to get maybe more in-depth hormonal testing, thyroid, adrenals. But so far I haven't done any of that because there's just been a lot going on. So that was Saturday, October 12th. Like I said, I had my imaging done. I went down to the hospital. She did an ultrasound on whatever this is. Look, see, the bruise is gone, but that ball is still there. And if I touch it, my arm still hurts, but the severity is not as bad as it had been, where it was just so bad. I couldn't even sleep. The arm was painful. It's going down, but I also think the ball is not as big. And she did say it could be touching on a nerve. She did an ultrasound right there of it. She thought maybe it was a cyst. There was no blood flow in it, although it could be an abscess, which is kind of off-putting. So after I did everything, she was more concerned. Let's check your heart. They did an EKG. They did a chest x-ray. They did blood work. Chest x-ray was normal. EKG normal. Blood work, all of it was really good. except for that one marker when I'm meat-based that always comes up off on the kidney, which they say, well, it could just be that you're dehydrated, but I know that I'm absolutely not dehydrated. Especially that day, I had plenty of fluid because you need to go in with a full bladder when you have the ultrasound. And then they make you go to the bathroom and then they do more imaging. And then I drank a whole bottle of water while I was waiting to be seen at the emergency room. So, well, they put me like in the hallway, which I never mind. They're always like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't care. I know that I'm not I'm the type of person, I'll wait. Like, you know, I know that there's other people there with more serious issues than what's going on with me. So I didn't mind sitting out in the hallway. That was fine. Anyway, I digress. I'm going crazy. So anyway, they did do measurements on this. And I swear she said 1 by 1.5 centimeters. But I just looked up my chart from the hospital, and it was like 0.5 and 0.6 or something was the measurements of that. So what else? Yeah, the blood work was normal, except for that one thing, which I want to say, now I just looked it up, so you'd think, I want to say it's like urea nitrogen or something, or lactic acid. I don't know. Something with the kidney is always off, and it's always high. Not super duper high. I think it's like 10 points higher than it should be in their range. They're never concerned about it. My other concern was that my blood sugar was 99. Okay, that is in the normal range, but that is not where I normally am. And the truth of the matter was, my ultrasound appointment, I believe, was for 1:45. I had to be there by 1:30. I left the house around 12:30. I hadn't eaten anything since 11:30, and the only other thing I ingested from 11:30 on was water. I think they did the blood work around 4:15. So between 11 and 4:15, I should have been basically fasted, and 99 just seems high. So last week I checked my blood sugar at home. I did the Keto Mojo, and my ketones were only 0.6. I was not in what is that called? GKI. Oh my God, I'm having such trouble. Well, whatever. I wasn't in nutritional or whatever ketosis at all because my blood sugar was so high. Plus my ketones were just really low. And that was, I hadn't eaten anything or drank anything with calories since like 6 o'clock the night before. And I checked those measurements at 11 a.m. the next day. So very fasted. And my blood sugar was like 106 or something. And I know it was the dawn effect because I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't really sleep at all, but when I'm up and doing stuff is it between 5 and 6 a.m. So I don't know what this trend is with the blood sugar. I don't like it. Anyway, according to them though, everything was good. One interesting thing was I had markers, some test in there. I was like 100 and something points higher than it should be, which indicates heart failure. That happened to me one time when I was gained a lot of weight really fast, and I went to the hospital because it felt like my face, like the skin was just gonna rip apart, and in my legs and on my arms, everything. It was horrible. And they really weren't that concerned, even though it was like 100 and something points higher than the normal range. And this time I was within the normal range. I think like the highest number could be 100 or something like that. And I was 70. So whatever heart failure thing, mild or whatever I had, seems to have reversed, at least at this point. So that was good. But I did go back in because I wanted to look at what my ultrasound results were, because according to my last ultrasound, I got those results right away. So I went in on the 12th. I had them by Sunday night. My doctor was calling me by Monday morning because they want more clearer imaging and they want me to do an MRI because there was a tumor by my left ovary. But here's the interesting thing. My first ultrasounds and I think they were CT scans that I had for pelvic pain in the hospital started back in 2020, and they knew, I think actually in 2019, because they thought I had an ovarian torsion and I didn't. This is when I learned that I had adenomyosis, however you pronounce it, and some fibroids and stuff. But in 2020, when I went back to get an ultrasound, I had 3 myomas or fibroids in my uterus. My uterus was enlarged, and I had an indeterminate tumor, TMI, that was transvaginal. So it was very, like, I don't want to be disgusting, but like the doctors could actually feel it if they did a pelvic exam. It was that close to like, okay. And it was a 2.8 centimeter indeterminate tumor. And I had several small, I cannot pronounce this, Nabathian cysts, cervical Nabathian cysts. And the biggest fibroid at that time was 1.4 times 1.2 times 1.4 centimeters, and those were my fibroids. There was 3 of them. And then I got an ultrasound in 2022, and it said that I did have 1 fibroid, at least according to this one that I had August 11th, 2022. And that one was also 1.4 by 1.2 by 1.4. And it didn't say anything about these Nabathian cysts on this one. And I still had the indeterminate tumor, no change. So still 2.8 centimeters. So this year I was so good with this carnivore diet. Like, I did strict BB&E for 6 whole months. No cream, no butter, no cheese, nothing, no coffee. Then I followed that with 1 month of a Lion diet, which is even more strict, which is just beef, salt, and water. And then I've just been doing a general carnivore, and I got down to basically 100, I want to say 155 pounds, but really with the point, whatever, I was probably closer to 156. So I was very close to a normal BMI by 1 to 2 pounds for my height. And then we went out in May, me and my husband. I did that 3-day off plan, and I gained a lot of weight because it wound up being 9 days instead of 3. And then I went back on plan, and I had jumped up like 20 something pounds. Then I went down like 15 pounds. Then I bounced back up like 6 pounds, even though at that point I was staying tried and true on plan. Okay. And same like now, I never lost the weight basically that I gained. Like, from the 20 pounds, I think I got not quite 10 of it off. So I was still up between 10 and 15 pounds. I was like floating between 165 and 170 after that, even though I went back on plan. Then I went to a barbecue at my brother's, and I was very good the whole entire time until the end when I started eating pasta salad. Don't know what's my problem. That was really the only thing that I ate off. I actually had hamburgers with no buns, a hot dog with no bun, but for some reason I went for this pasta salad. And then again, 9 days must be the magic number. Well, really, that one might have been, I might have been 2 whole weeks with this go around. Which, was it 2 whole weeks? No, it wasn't, because it was whatever day he had that party, which was in August, the end of August. It was before the holiday, before the kids went back to school. It was the weekend before that. I want to say it was like August 29th or August 30th. And then I got back on plan September 8th or the 7th. I know that it was the first week of September I got back in. Sorry, I'm getting a little too far here and a little carried away. But anyway, and that's where I gained that 30 pounds in the 2 weeks, and I haven't, nothing's coming off, nothing. So anyway, I don't even know where I was at. All I know is now with this last ultrasound, I had 1 fibroid still, but it was bigger than the last time. So like I said, last time it was 1.4 by 1.2 by 1.4, and this time it was 2.2 by 1.8 by 2.2. But again, I actually showed some improvement doing this carnivore diet, right? Because I had 3, and then over this time period that I've been doing it, it's been over 2 years of being basically mostly meat-based. I went from having 3 fibroids with an indeterminate tumor to having 1 indeterminate tumor and 1 fibroid. Now this new scan, it didn't say anything about that indeterminate tumor. The transvaginal one doesn't show, but I'm back to having these Nabathian, if I'm saying that right, cysts. I still have the adenomyosis, but I did not have the enlarged uterus. They said it was normal. So that also normalized. It wasn't enlarged anymore. But I did have a 3.6 centimeter mass off of my left ovary. And I have to have an MRI for that. I will be getting an MRI for that November 25th. So they want to see, they need clearer imaging to determine what it is. The gynecologist did wind up calling me and said he didn't think it was anything to be concerned about. But of course, more imaging to get a clearer picture is better. And of course, I still have the adenomyosis. So I had that since 2019. That hasn't gone away, but I did ditch 2 fibroids and maybe a tumor, although I got a new tumor. So I don't know. I guess when I get the MRI, I will have more answers for that. I just really want this weight to come off, and I want whatever's going on with my skin to stop, because I'm really losing my hair. And I think I'm losing my hair because I scratch all the time. Like, I really scratch all the time. I also noticed that my hair, I always have frizzy hair, but it's way less curly, more straight and wavy now. And if I style my hair, like scrunch it and gel and all that stuff, it doesn't hold anymore. So that could be indication of some kind of hormone thing. I don't know. But if anyone has any ideas, please feel free to give me advice. I will listen. I'm wondering if I should attempt lying again, at least for a month, just to see what happens. Because right now, nothing's happening. And I'm getting frustrated. I will say, when I gained that 30 pounds and I went off the rails that little bit of time between August and the first week of September, I wasn't feeling well. Back pain, knee pains, the ankle, that doctor was right. He said, don't you dare gain an ounce because you have nothing left in that ankle. He was not playing, because right now I got the ankle brace on. It's not great. But the knee is already better. The back's already better. The headaches are already gone. I got the IBS again. That's basically gone again. So there are positive things that have happened, but I have no nails. They hurt because they just break right off. And I don't know what's going on with my skin and my scalp. And I was at goal weight, guys, and I worked really hard for that. And it went away in just a couple of weeks. And now we're way more than a couple weeks in and nothing's changing. So yes, I'm frustrated. I'm nervous. I'm not really that concerned about my scans and stuff. I'm just going to wait to see what they say. I don't know. So if you guys have any opinions or advice, I will more than happily accept that. Anyway, until next time, guys.